Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Friday edition of Moohead Radio. I'm your host, a big and furry bovine. How are you doing today? I sure hope you stayed up and watched the football game. Aren't you glad you did? Today, we'll be talking about that football game and about a lot of stuff that goes around it. I really wanted to bring in an expert to really get an understanding of what really caused the outcome of this game and how, the weather affected the outcome of the game and all that good stuff. So, hello to Browns fan 85, to Ron Leftman, to Rick May, to Big Lurker UK, and to Double P. It's nice to see people in the chat room. And here we go. I'm starting sharing this with you because I think sometimes it's the unsung hero that doesn't get the praise, and sometimes certain people get praise, and it gets overly effusive when it's quarterbacks because they get a ton of praise and they get a heaping helping of hate at the same time. What I'm going to do is show you an 8-second clip. And you didn't really get to see this so much on the telecast because we were all looking downfield to see, oh my God, is there anybody open downfield? But here we go. The unsung hero is Wyatt Teller, who played a brilliant football game, but you won't hear anything about that. And the play you'll recognize once you see the thing that makes it special. So let's see if I can run this thing and get it moving. Let me see how this might work. Dun, 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 dun. I guess I'm going to have to go over here. Let's do this.
Winston, under pressure, gonna run it. Forward in motion.
Watch Teller. Bam! There goes TJ Watt right out of the camera frame. Watch again. Bam!
Under pressure. Gonna run
it. Oh, you gotta love that. I just want to watch this over and over again.
Winston,
that's what you call
under pressure. Gonna run
wiping a guy out. Gotta love it. Okay, we'll stop the screen. And that's really, really good. All right, we'll get rid of that. I just wanted to start out the program with that because I fucking hate TJ Watt. TJ Watt is a whiner. I didn't get the award. I didn't get the award. Fuck you. Fuck you. And look who's in the chat room. Isn't that interesting? Not anymore. I'm dead serious about this shit. I don't want to hear from Ravens fans, from Steelers fans. This is a Northeast Ohio sports podcast. I want to hear from Cleveland fans. And, to hell with people who are just trying to cause grief. Now, I wanted to consult an expert because Pickens, after the game, was very vocal in expressing the fact that it was not the Browns who really affected the outcome of the game. It was the weather. And, I saw what I saw on the screen, and boy, that was quite a lake effect snowfall. And I'm sure that it affected both teams, but I wanted to be able to ask an expert. So I'm bringing in a special expert that I normally wouldn't bring in. Hi, this is Dick Goddard. Nice to be with you, Mr. Moohead. I wanted to answer George Pickens' comment. Is that his first name? or ass picking. I'm not sure. That's what we call lake effect, but you wouldn't know that in Pittsburgh because you have nothing but pollution. And you're mentally deranged and you don't understand that two teams were playing in exactly the same weather. Let me explain how it happens. The lake effect, cold air that was warmer air settles over the lake and they get precipitation in the form of snow once it goes below freezing. You stupid fuck. I just wanted to explain that because you couldn't even take down Greg Newsome in the end zone, you sorry, weak piece of shit. That's it for me, Dick Goddard. Nice being with you. I hope that clarifies some of this. Good God Almighty. Unbelievable. So, I wanted to get on to my article, so I will bring this over to the other side so we can do this properly. I'm surprised I don't have anybody co-hosting with me. See? Team wins, man. And it's like, where is everybody? You know, I did too, Jeffrey. Is this a win that I savor? No. I don't think either team played particularly well, to be honest. The Browns were ahead, for God's sakes, 18-6 to begin the quarter, and within 5 minutes, they'd blown the lead. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that all is well, because it's the same thing that happened against New Orleans. I mean, you cannot give up, that kind of activity in the fourth quarter of games and expect to win. If you want to call it an assault, I don't think Pickens is able to assail anybody. Yeah. He should have been going after the ball, the stupid asshole. None of the Steelers even went for the ball. That's because Russell Wilson underthrew the ball because he doesn't have the arm he used to have. Just saying. Yeah, it's too big a stage, Rick. It really is. It's too big a stage for people to maintain on this show. Here's some things that I take away from the game. One, if you were following me at all on Twitter during the course of the game, I was asking questions. And the big one was, why is Ford playing and not Chubb? And when they put Chubb back into the game, it's like I said in the halftime program, in that kind of weather, 3 and 4 yard gains, let alone 6 yard gains, mean a hell of a lot. It keeps people honest. So they can't outright blitz the quarterback. And with Chubb out of the game, Ford just couldn't change directions, was just going to barrel forward. And we saw couple of glimpses of Nick Chubb with a little footwork and getting through a crease. And it wasn't that his final numbers were great, but he got the ball into the end zone because he knows how to follow blocking, which Ford does not know how to do. And I thought that was a tremendous lift for the team to be able to get the ball into the end zone and to get it into a position where they could win the football game. But I do have other questions, all right? If it wasn't the weather that cost the Steelers the game, what did? And Big Lurker, I'll be talking about this in just a moment because it does kind of all come together in the end. Wasn't the weather because both teams were playing in it. The Steelers came out like a house on fire, and it looked like Warren and company were going to run right through us. And it looked like it was not going to be a close game whatsoever. But they didn't score 7 points, which is the problem with the Steelers all season long. A lot of field goals, not as many touchdowns as they needed, and they couldn't score the early knockout. Because we were there, just like Frank Bruno was for Mike Tyson. We were there to be knocked out. But they didn't do it. They kept us in the game. And by keeping us in the game, it's dangerous. Let me remind everybody that the Steelers this year are 5-3 in one possession football games. They were 5-2 going into this game. When you are relying on one possession to win football games, you're not going to beat good football teams, let alone bad football teams. What I'm telling you is that the Ravens aren't that good. And on any given Sunday, any NFL team, if they're kept close enough, can do damage. The Steelers did damage by not separating themselves earlier. But even that wasn't what cost them the game. I wanted to show you something because I wanted to share this screen with you because this is important in understanding what really did cost them the game. All right, we're going to share a screen with you once again. And bingo. All right. I'm going to run through this for y'all because this is the front page of ESPN and latest NBA trade rumblings. Yeah. And who's playing tonight in the NBA? Yep. The Giants agree to cut Jones. Yep. McGregor is liable for sexual assault, and Soto, and then the 49ers 36-game favorite streak is in jeopardy, and then Peppers is set to masturbate in court, and then the Broncos in week 16 flex to Thursday. Then the story about the Giants releasing Jones and how it all fell apart for Jones and the Giants, and then college hoops scoreboard for games, some of which have already begun and some which haven't. And then what coaches and scouts think about how good Forrest Gump really was. Not a fucking mention of the Cleveland Browns, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Fucking fictional Forrest fucking Gump. It's sickening. There it is. Didn't believe me? There it is. Woo. There it is. All that other stuff. No mention of the Cleveland Browns and the Steelers. They're going to bury it. Called burying the lead. Like anybody gives a shit about this. Stop the screen before I vomit. Good God Almighty. So what is it that really cost them the game? Tomlin cost them the game. Why in the hell would you accept the penalty? Here was my situation at home. I didn't understand what had happened. Because, and I'm going to be real blunt about this, and I'm friendly with Kirk Herbstreit on Twitter. He and I kind of joke back and forth about certain things. But I wanted clarification, so I asked him a question because I didn't understand it myself. But I don't want to lead people to believe that Kirk Herbstreit has anything to do with what I say on this program, all right? I was confused because Al Michaels was confused. He wasn't having a good game. He was trying to figure out when it was like, you know, on the 3-yard line, he thought it was on the 1-yard line. When it was on the 2-yard line, he thought it was on the 1-yard line. I don't know what he was looking at, what he was calling. He was getting, everything was not organized. And on the play that Jameis Winston went back to pass, they were focused on whether it was intentional grounding or not, which it couldn't have been because his arm was moving forward. And the ball literally slipped out of his hand, out of his grip, because the grip factor was so bad in the snow. But they weren't even showing originally that Posek had touched the ball. So really what I was looking at was a pass in which the center was not supposed to touch the ball, and he just did something instinctively, and that was a penalty. I thought that Tomlin was trying to ice the situation by not saying, well, I accept it, I decline it. It went on forever. And during that time, Al Michaels kept on yapping and yapping and yapping like this. And I couldn't figure out what was happening. No explanation whatsoever. Did they accept the penalty? Did they not accept the penalty? I think they accepted the penalty, and somebody in the booth back in New York, I think they said, is he sure he wants to accept that penalty? Run that by him again. And they did. They stopped the game for what seemed like an interminable amount of time to get clear. Now, this is what you want to do, huh? Mike, this is what you want to do. He accepted the penalty and made it 3rd and 5 instead of 4th and whatever. And it wasn't 3rd and 5 because it was a 5-yard penalty, which made no sense to me because do you believe in brain damage? Yes, I'm trying to figure this out. It's like, it can't be 3rd and 5, or it couldn't have been. It was a 5-yard penalty. If they accepted the penalty, that means we had the first down, but we didn't have the first down. It's like, so they accept the penalty, and it's 3rd down instead of 4th down. Had they declined the penalty, it would have been 4th down. The Browns would have gone for it anyway, according to Kevin Stefanski, because they were not at all convinced that Hopkins would be able to kick a 43-yard field goal with the footing the way that it was. But it became a non sequitur in essence because he accepted the fucking penalty. And by accepting the penalty, he gave us the opportunity to get the first down. He fucked up. The worst coaching decision he could have made, and it's unusual for him, but he was just locked into the Mike Tomlin box. There's a 1-possession game, and I'm going to put all my money on my defense. All my money on my defense. It's why the Steelers are not going anywhere in the playoffs this year. Not going nowhere. They'll get there. Not going anywhere. They can't score enough points. And the reason they can never score enough points is because as good a coach as Tomlin is, and he's a proven commodity, he's locked into one mindset, and I'm going to put all my money on the table with my defense. And Jerry Jeudy busted him twice. And the ball went down just like that for the winning score. Let me remind you, had they accepted, even if Cleveland made the field goal, which would have been real questionable, and they wouldn't have gone for it, we find out afterwards, if they had kicked a field goal and taken the lead 19-18, it wouldn't have mattered. The Steelers would have had 1:44 on the clock. Hello? Instead, we scored the football. They only had 50 seconds left with one timeout. You can't justify the decision that Mike Tomlin made. It was terrible. Terrible. That's what lost them the game. So Steeler fans can complain all they want about this or that. It was your own fucking coach that cost you in the end. I think the Browns were happy when they scored that touchdown and went up 18-6, and they were like feeling themselves. And why did the Browns go for 2? I couldn't figure that out either. And then, of course, it took the analytics person on Amazon Prime to figure out, well, that would be 8 plus 3, but they'd still have the lead. So, in other words, Kevin Stefanski in his mindset said, well, if they score the touchdown, which they will, and they get the 2-point conversion, which they will, and they kick a field goal, which they won't because it won't win them the game when they get the ball back. It's like, whatever happened to the power of positive thinking? It was like the decision making was all predicated on, well, we know when the Steelers get the ball back, they're going to score. It's like, I'm holding my head. It's like, why are you? And the 2-point conversion was dumb luck. Based on the last time they threw the ball to Njoku, Butterfingers dropped an easy pass, and that was 100 times harder, and he somehow held on before he hit the ground. I have no idea. And yeah, this is what I call when analytics so takes over the game, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So the Browns started playing back on their heels, and within 5 minutes, they were behind 18-16. And it looked like they had choked for sure. Only to have Tomlin, with his limited mindset and the box that he's stuck in, make the horrible decision that cost his team. And he will never acknowledge it. And they'll never call him out for it because they're too busy talking about fucking Forrest Gump on ESPN. Give me a goddamn break. Goodness gracious. Exactly, Double P. And look, I read that Hubie Brown at 91 was going to be given one last game that he's going to be allowed to broadcast. God bless him. 91 years old. They should be figuring out the last one for Al Michaels. And I don't mean to be rude. Do you believe in miracles and all the other things he's done? He's been a wonderful announcer on television. He's done a great job, but wasn't up to it last night, man. I didn't say anything to Kirk because, look, it's your job. You're a color man, and you gotta step in and do what you gotta do. And I know what it's like. I've done color commentary, and a lot of it is based on the quality of the play-by-play person that you're working with. I was fortunate to work with a good one, but when I was at Miami University in the MAC, I worked with a good guy, and so I could just kind of drift in and drift out, float in and float out. But things were coming fast and furious at the end of that game, and it was not easy to see. I mean, quite honestly, high definition television, and it was like the snow was coming out of the television. It was really fucking weird, honestly. Let's see what Mr. B says. Pittsburgh determined to, why don't we go this way? It was never a close game. Yeah, Delpit stupid penalty. I mean, why you would let yourself get baited by an idiot like Pickens, I have no idea. I mean, that's why I said, am I excited? No, because neither team really played particularly well. One team had to win, one team had to lose, and it was the Steelers. I hate the Steelers. I hate Minka Fitzpatrick specifically. And I don't like TJ Watt and his big fucking mouth either. They got to make something up because they never point the finger at themselves and nobody holds them accountable. And I'm going to say something today that is the way I feel. Same old Steelers. Shove it up your ass. It's the same old Steelers because they can't score points. They throw short passes. Why weren't they taking advantage of the Browns' deep coverage earlier in the game? I don't know. I don't understand. The mentality changes when the pressure's on, and they're the same old Steelers. They've been nothing since the end of Roethlisberger. They're still nothing. Nothing. Even the idiot who tried to force his way back into my chat room, who's the Ravens fan, douchebag, you're never getting back in. You can come in with a fake name. You can do whatever you want. You ain't never going to be on the air here again because you abused your privilege. Yeah, oh, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. You know, it's like both you teams, same old Ravens. Close, but no cigar. And the Ravens are a better football team than the Steelers. Steelers really aren't very good. Actually, you know, it's interesting. Al Michaels is 3 years older than Donald Trump. And they're both confused. And Biden wouldn't have remembered he was at a football game. So, and Matt Gaetz, you have a problem with Bill Gates. You got a bigger problem now, don't you? Donald Trump vetted a guy who was a sexual abuser. Don't get me started because I will win. Oh no, Richard, we lost electricity before half and got it back 13 hours. No, no, Mentor on the lake. No, Topaz is like, no. Oh my God. That had to just break your heart. The last game the Browns are going to win this year. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, dude. That hurts. That hurts my soul. As a Browns fan, you deserve to see that. Watch the replay, you know? Go back, find highlights, do something. Let's see what else we have here. Should Chubb have taken a knee at the end and milked the clock to the end, allowing for Hopkins? No. No. You know, one thing about Chubb's out there to win. And I'm not going to tell you that this is the same Chubb, but the conditions were bad. He actually looked better in spots in this game than he has in any of the other games he's played this year. Like he was planting a little bit more and finding a crease a little bit more. And you still got to remember that Fades in the game, we don't have a left tackle, so we're not really at full strength. But no, Mark, don't even go there. You say, isn't that funny? And this guy couldn't sell his tickets and chose not to go. Well, you would have been wearing a lot of snow, my man. So you probably would have gotten pneumonia. So you're good. You're really good. But I feel bad that you didn't get the money out of it because that's all Jimmy Haslam cares about. By the way, fuck Haslam. My mind isn't, not. The Browns fans are like, I swear, there were people on Twitter, these Browns fans, and they're honest to God. How would I describe them? They're bipolar. When they're high, they're high. And when they're low, they're low. And now it's like, I'm very excited. I'm very excited with Jameis Winston. And now I do want to talk about Jameis Winston. Because what would our record be if Jameis Winston had? It would be 3-8. Fuck you and shut the fuck up. The team is no better than what it is. Without an offensive line, if Jameis Winston had the offensive line that Deshaun Watson had, it wouldn't have mattered that Winston has a stronger arm. He would have thrown it to the other team 13 times. I mean, please. He did it yesterday. He does it every game he plays in. And so did Flacco. So shut the fuck up. Goodness gracious. I don't know what people are looking at. You know what? And I'm not going to sit here and attack Jameis Winston. Richard. The women, where women are men. The Monongahela and the Allegheny. I don't know what to tell you about Jameis Winston, but I'm sick and tired of him quoting faux scripture. Make that stop, dear God. All right. And I'll go down to the sidelines for the game. Big busty woman is with Jameis Winston. And Jameis, what do you need to do out there? I put all my faith in the Lord. All my faith in the Lord. That is what allows me to crack the code. We can be royals. Oh, not that Lord. But the Lord up there. Did I ever tell you that everything I do for the Lord? I go out here and play a violent game that makes people die when they're 57 years of age on average. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. I'm preaching. It's just got to stop. I wish it would stop. I hold my head. Did the Lord tell you to throw the interception? No, I put all my faith in the Lord because he knows best, better than you do. It wasn't the Lord. Mike Tomlin decided the football game, not the Lord. Shut the fuck up. Stop forcing your beliefs on other people. Nobody gives a shit. You want to do snow angels with members of the Amazon Prime team? That's cool. You can do that. That's good. It's all good. You want to talk positive? That's good. It's better than fucking Deshaun Watson who's like, Deshaun, you won. I didn't get laid. What I'll tell you about Deshaun Watson is his social status killed his ambition. Right? And then his shoulder fell apart. He stopped being a football player and he allowed matters of the flesh to take over. That's what happened to Deshaun Watson. So, and it's too bad. He was a talented player. And I feel badly because he's flawed. I don't ever want to see him under center again for the Browns. Let me make it clear. But Haslam will bring him back because that's who our owner is. I wanted to tie this into something else because the whole thing with I said I would come back to Daniel Jones and all that, but the one thing that was amazing was Woody Johnson saying after week 4 when the Jets were 2-2 and when Saleh was still the head coach that he wanted to bench Aaron Rodgers. And the people who leaked this said, and if he would have really had wanted to, he'd have done it. And that's exactly the point, you see. Jimmy Haslam gets a harebrained scheme to draft Johnny Manziel, and ain't nobody going to stop that motherfucker. Ain't nobody going to stop him from doing something stupid. He's the owner of the team. Same with Woody. And then we have the Giants. You wonder why the Giants are in a hell position? You know what they did to Daniel Jones? And I know Daniel Jones didn't do well for the Giants, but the Giants suck. Saquon Barkley leaves. It's having a great year with the Eagles. Never have happened in New York. No. They made Daniel Jones play the safety position in practice for one day. You don't have to humiliate a man. Just cut him. Well, they waited until the next day to cut him. Can you imagine they allowed the press in to witness him standing back there as a safety? That's humiliating. And that's what a losing organization does. I don't know how you end up that mean-spirited. You're the ones who drafted him. You have a responsibility. Zero snow in Conneaut. Zero entertainment in Conneaut. I've been in Conneaut. My car broke down in Conneaut many decades ago. True story. I'm getting all these comments in. Did Najee Harris and TJ Watt actually play yesterday? Well, Najee Harris started out the game and got tackled in the backfield a few times because he was saying, well, this is where Trent Richardson would have run. And it was really funny. You didn't see him much after that. You saw more Warren out there. But I don't know if you saw that Jameis Winston went over to Najee Harris and started, you got to find the Lord. You got to. Hi, John. How are you?
Hey, Moo. Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm
Good.
doing good.
Browns win. We're all doing good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I want to see them lose. It has nothing to do with that. I just don't think they played a great game. I think that they were fortunate blowing an 18-6 lead that they were able to get it back thanks to Mike Tomlin. That's all.
That's true. Except again, I bet against them and I lost.
Now, there you go. You see, when you have a gambling addiction, you can't win for losing.
Well, they're part of my pool, so.
At
any rate.
Joel Wireman comes in too. Hi, Joel. What hat you wearing today? What are you sporting? Ohio. Oh, yeah. Is that your natural hair color? I'm just kidding. No, it's not. Yeah, you.
No, it really is.
It really is?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. How old are you, Joel?
25.
25. There you go.
Yeah. How old are you? How old are you? 35?
I once was.
I thought you were 35 right now, man.
I'm 67 years old.
You know I'm a Steelers fan. That was a tough loss last night.
Yeah, I know you're a Steelers fan, but don't you think Tomlin fucked up completely? Why didn't he take the penalty?
Why didn't they pass it to Pickens 5 more times? He was burning Denzel Ward all fucking night. Sorry, excuse my language.
No, it's all right. That's what we're here for. None of it made sense to me. I mean, when they got the ball at the end and they completed the pass to Austin, I mean, it's like they were isolated one-on-one and beating the Browns. And there was another play where number 12 for the Browns, I don't even know what his name is. And that when they threw the ball behind Pickens, but Pickens was in the end zone wide open. I mean, yeah, you wonder what the thought process was. I just don't know.
And then that penalty, he should have accepted it on that 4th and 2.
The intentional grounding thing.
Yeah, They said it was an ineligible receiver. That was an intentional grounding. That was bullcrap.
I hit a lineman.
Yeah, well, the whole thing about that, if you watch the play again, Joel, it was kind of a goofy play. He was in the pocket, but his arm was moving forward, but the ball slipped out of his hands. The question to me was not whether he grounded it, but whether he fumbled it, but his arm was moving forward. That's why that wasn't called. It was Posich who touched the ball illegally, but he did not accept the penalty. Had he not accepted the penalty, it would have been 4th down, but instead it was 3rd
that's
down.
What I meant.
Yeah. 3rd and 7. It was a 5-yard penalty.
I already knew it was going to be a close game before the game even started, just because.
Well, nobody had an idea it was going to snow like that, though, man.
Yeah.
That came out of nowhere.
That was pretty.
That was some old school football.
Yeah, and that's what it came down to. I think in the end, it comes down to sometimes who has the ball last. And if you have an underarmed quarterback like Russell Wilson. And I'm sorry, Joel, you're not going anywhere with a 35-year-old quarterback who literally had to throw a 12-yard pass to use up the rest of his time except for one play because he wouldn't have been able to heave the ball into the end zone from 45 yards away. That's a problem.
I told my dad I was watching it with him. I said if Justin Fields would have started that game, I think we would have won. Just because more dynamic with the run, like the Brown. It's easy to stop a quarterback when you know he's not going to go anywhere. When he's going to stay in the pocket the whole time.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I don't know what Mike Tomlin was thinking because the more that weather got bad, the more of a threat Justin Fields would be, even though you saw Fields try to throw a pass, and it was, was very difficult getting the ball accurately down the field.
Run, though.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if he finds a crease, he'll be able to do something with it. So
I'm convinced we would have won if he would have started Justin Fields, or if he would have kept him in the game longer.
Yeah, but that's, again, he's locked in a way of thinking. And look, Tomlin's gotten good results, but your Steelers aren't good enough. They're not good enough to really, they don't have the talent necessary. They have a tremendous amount of discipline, and they have a defense that can get takeaways. And I think they believe they won the game. They started throwing snowballs at one another in the end zone. And I think that they honestly believe that the Browns offense could not move the football, and you can never let your guard down because you never know.
Do you see George Pickens at the end of the game?
He couldn't even get little Newsome. Newsome's a midget. I mean, for God's sakes, Newsome is like the weakest guy. I mean, he's like, and they're grappling with one another, but it's like and then afterwards, Newsome said he was a fake tough guy.
I saw that. And then George Pickens says the Browns still suck.
Who said?
George Pickens was like, I don't think the Browns are a good team still.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you just lost to him, you stupid ass.
Yeah.
Everything you accomplished against the Ravens the week before is wasted because you just,
Hey, at least we get shot at redemption a couple weeks.
Yeah, it'll be different in Pittsburgh. Believe me, it'll be different in Pittsburgh. You can bank on it.
If the Steelers beat the Chiefs, you owe me $20.
Yeah, right now the problem with the Steelers is they're just not scoring enough touchdowns. They're not red zoning well.
Yeah.
And that's just a huge problem. Your kicker's a wonderful kicker. He missed one inexplicably. The weather was bad. I get that. That was before the snow, but there was a lot of wind, and he pushed it right. Cleveland's a tough place to kick. Ask any kicker who's kicked there. There's little hints that you get in the stadium as to which way the wind is going, but what the flag's doing ain't necessarily what the football's going to do. That's what all the kickers from Matt Barr forward, Don Cockcroft, said about kicking in Cleveland is what Phil Dawson said. And the advantage to kickers in Cleveland is that they know that studio. Excuse me. I'm looking at the studio here. They know what it's like to kick in that stadium, and they know where the drafts and winds are coming from.
Hey, by the way, Moo, did you notice on the first kickoff with Hopkins,
he shanked it?
He did. He shanked his kickoff, and I figure here's what we got the rest of the night.
Yeah, it was no wonder Stefanski was like,
"Yeah,
this is this Kevin Stefanski. Just go for it." But what it really means is get Dustin Hopkins out of my sight. Get him out of my line of vision. I don't want to see him.
Yeah, he shanked it. It would have gone out of bounds if I don't know why the guy picked it up.
There's a lot of things I didn't understand about the game. Al Michaels being about the best of them. That was just like, it was total confusion. And when the viewer is sitting there having trouble seeing because of the snow, you got to rely on the people, especially the play-by-play guy. But he's sitting there going, and I know, Joel, why you thought that was a penalty against Winston, for intentional grounding, because that's what Al Michael said. I think that flagged for intentional grounding. And, and it's like, so immediately you think that's what they're investigating. And they never completely, they finally got the angle of it hitting the Browns center in the hands. They finally got to that point, but they never explained what the options were for Tomlin if he'd accepted the penalty or if he didn't. They screwed the whole thing up.
Yeah, the whole thing was confusing.
That's because it wasn't being explained. Al Michaels wouldn't shut the fuck up and let Kirk explain to the audience what was going on. And I'll cover for him because I know what it's like. I've done the job before. God. And, fuck Jimmy Stone. Fuck him. Just say no to Haslam. No, no, no. Just pretend like you're a woman and somebody who looks like fucking Jimmy Haslam does. Like he's passing a hard stool. That's my new Jimmy Haslam face. You got, just say no. If you're a woman and you saw that, put that thing back in your fucking pants, man. Put it in your fucking pants. Get out of here. No. Hey. No means no. And that's what the Browns fans have to do.
Hey, tell that to Deshaun Watson.
Well, Deshaun Watson.
No means no. No means yes.
Well, exactly. I mean, and you know what it means? It means Jimmy has to pay him. That's the most painful part. People don't realize what Jimmy's famous for is not paying people. When he owned the trucking company, he didn't pay rebate checks to his clients. He's used to not paying people, and now he has to pay somebody who's non-productive.
He's paying coaches not to coach.
Exactly.
I mean, Hugh Jackson, he paid all these guys that he fired. He's still paying on them.
You say Hugh Jackman, the Wolverine?
Yeah.
It's just he's paying half the free world. Yeah, I don't. But fuck the dome. I don't even want to hear about that Brook Park.
No. Big mistake.
At least Jameis Winston's doing the Lord's work.
No, he's not. You can't believe that.
No.
And the Lord said, let there be crab legs. I mean, please make this stop. Please make this shit go away.
He's over the top with it.
He's like the biggest fake pastor I've heard in my life.
Hey, I'm a Christian myself, so I support that, but I get how it's funny. It's comedy.
It is funny.
I'm a Christian, and I love God. I'm glad that he's doing that, but like I get what you're saying though. Like he's making a persona out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, well, it's time for his sideline interview.
Hey, I love Jameis, man. I don't care if I'm a Steelers fan.
He's up there. I'm going to start preaching. They're going to talk to me on the sideline. I'm going to get up on the pulpit and I'm going to make convincers and believers out of everybody. And I'm going to tell you, hellfire raised from the sky. And you're like, oh, God.
Bro, you know that he practices what he's about to say to the reporters before he does.
Oh yeah, and he's still. It's still like this weird, insane stream of consciousness that doesn't make any damn bit of sense.
But at the same time, in my opinion, I think it's good morale for the Browns though, because they all gather around him in the locker room and see him as that leader, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like I said, it's not like Deshaun Watson was ever talking about the Lord, unless that's his nickname for his penis.
That's horrible. You're horrible.
It is horrible, but what can I tell you?
You're horrible.
I am. I've been horrible for 22 years doing this, and before that, I've been horrible. I've been one of the most horrible people. And here, look, this guy, I'm a Steelers fan. Credit Winston for giving glory to God. No, it wasn't God. It was Tomlin, and Tomlin is not God.
That was me who said that.
That's you? You dumbass. I wish I had a panel too. Call yourself by your real name. You son of a bitch. Yeah, Greg Smith is coming. Are you Greg Smith too, Joel?
No.
Okay, just checking. 99% of the time, interviewing athletes is boring and predictable. Well, you never know, you know? And I looked up to the sky and I said, let there be crab legs. And the Lord gave me crab legs, and I ran away from the store and didn't pay for them. Amen. Make that stop.
Yeah, that was him, wasn't it? Winston.
Yes.
Yeah,
He does go overboard. He doesn't need to do that. I mean, if he has a genuine belief, that's not a problem. I don't have a problem with people who have, a real belief in something. But I think it really minimizes the belief when he starts that nonsense on the sidelines, because it's not appropriate. It really isn't. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can find strength in through religion. But before a game starts, if somebody asks you point blank, so how do you think you're going to handle these weather conditions tonight against a team with a top-rated defense like the Steelers? The answer is I'm going to raise my hand to this guy. It's like, I don't want to hear that shit.
Hey, the horse is prepared. The horse is prepared.
Yeah, that's what he said. I'm just riding it.
Oh gosh.
I thank God for the snow that I can be a part of this.
Hey,
and
I'm gonna
play.
get out of here, Moo, but Jesus loves all y'all. God bless.
All right, Joel.
God bless. I love you, man. You be good.
Right.
God bless
Love
you.
you too, Joel. You're a good man.
Thank you.
All
You
righty.
too, brother. Bye-bye. You
Bye-bye.
too. You too, sir.
You need a smaller bill on your hat. That bill, man, it's poking me right in the eye.
He's old, Joel. Don't let that. I mean, see, but he is John.
Hey, if I wasn't saved by Jesus, I would have made a terrible joke right there. Just to let you know.
Yeah, well, that's right. But you see, he's what I'm going to be in 13 years. So,
Hey,
That's your.
Hey,
how old are you, John?
70.
70? Man,
I look older.
I ain't falling into that trap.
I thought you were 50, John. Wow, you look great, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. How many push-ups can you do?
none.
Yeah. What's the story there with
He
the
has
neck?
to push himself up the stairs.
Tell me the story, John.
With this turkey neck, I just noticed.
That's what they call 11s.
What's that?
A 1-1. 11.
Yeah, that's what I got going on. I just noticed.
You got the 11s.
I know I look older than 70.
But here's the deal. I went back and looked at some of my old podcasts, and it's like, it's like I can see how I've aged over 22 years. So it's all of us.
I'll tell you what, that's the beauty of mirrors. If we didn't have a mirror, and the first time you looked at yourself, say, was at 20, and not again till now, you'd go, whoa! But we've seen ourselves all along daily, and you don't notice the change. So you're not, now you're 70 and you're not like, oh man, I look old. Now you're used to it.
Well, who's worse, Jerry Jones or Jimmy Haslam? And why don't you ask the fans, because they're both pissed off. I mean, Jerry Jones gets in his own way, and so does Jimmy Haslam. What happens, Jerry Jones has been an owner in the NFL for so long. But I will say this about Jerry Jones. His mother and father owned a small supermarket when he was growing up in Oklahoma. All right. He didn't inherit no fucking money. He didn't inherit money. He was an oil guy, and he struck it rich. And he claimed his stake, and he made money. Now, nobody can tell Jerry that he's doing stupid shit because he's impenetrable, right? Now, Jimmy Haslam's a little different because his father, got him into the trucking business, and he's a thief. Now, is Jerry Jones a thief? I think he's an amoral son of a bitch, but I can't say for sure that he's a thief. But Haslam is a convicted thief. And the fact of the matter is he's not a good guy. And Jerry Jones has been hard to work for, but he's of an age now where he can do no wrong. And you can't argue with the man who's America's team that is a source of such massive revenue as the Dallas Cowboys. You're just not going to get anywhere with him. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, exactly. The Lord blessed me today to play in the snow. Yeah.
What time did you come on today? 5?
5. Yep. Well, let me see what else here. Foul language will get you banned. Oh, Foul. I'm sorry. I thought that was a W. Oh, are they showing the blow up on NFL TV? That is a great block, help by Teller wiping out TJ Watt. Watt never saw that coming, and that made that touchdown totally possible. And no, TJ Watt was not an important figure at all in that game. And Myles Garrett, was, and it's got to frost his cookies. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
And that's a real possibility that Pittsburgh will lose to Cincinnati. This is how losing streaks start. I will say that Tomlin is good at keeping, a tight asshole. He's good at keeping his players in line, but they've been very fortunate this year, and you can't keep playing close games week after week, especially on the road like that. Maybe when you have a bunch of fans in front of you who are cheering you on, but it's tough to win that way on the road. And yes, I think they do still have a quarterback problem because they don't believe in Justin Fields enough to play him in any duration of time. And Russell Wilson has limitations. He's not the same player he was when he was younger. I want to understand this. I'm sorry. I was going to put a quote up here because I didn't understand what this was. Can someone take down that aluminum panel that those knuckleheads bang on that you can hear all night? Yeah, it was really funny. I have like this setup that it was like a surround sound thing. And I have distorted hearing in my right ear. It's all messed up. I have loss of hearing and distortion. And I could hear that coming from the back of the room. It was really freaking me out. I kept turning around like somebody coming after me with a goddamn baking pan. I don't know what in the hell it was. But yeah, I don't know what it is. It's an aluminum panel. It's strange. But yeah, it was bothering the hell out of me.
It's like
there were 2 punts in the game. It wasn't just Bojorquez. It was their guy who punted it out of bounds in the 50 that led us a 13-yard punt that led us to the winning score.
Yeah.
The exact same thing. I think the wind just blew the ball when a gust of wind caught it, and it caught the wrong part of his foot. Yeah. It's just kind of the way it worked. Conklin played well. Teller played better. But yeah. I won't say anything. I'm just putting comments up. Yeah, and all right. Brock Purdy is hurt, and his arm wasn't strong to begin with. Ah, my goodness. Mm-mm-mm. I've started something that I don't want to finish. Yeah. Yeah. Mary Kay should be pushing cosmetics. Ugh, make it stop. And it's true. He is the most powerful owner in the league, even though he didn't know what in the hell he's doing. And he whatever decision he makes, and it's not in the best interest of the football team. That's for damn sure. Double P, yeah. I have. Why don't I mention about the Cavs and the Celtics? I think it's nothing but good news. I think here's a couple of things that I take away from the game. You can't play a first half like that on the road. You just can't. You can't have your second leading scorer shoot 3 for 21 from the floor. You just can't. You're not going to win that game if that happens. It's just not going to happen for you. But the beauty of it is that they didn't fall apart and they came back in the third quarter. Had anyone been shooting the ball decently for the Cavaliers that night when they closed to within 2 points several times, there could have been something that pushed us over the hump, and it didn't happen. But the way I look at that game, and I walk away from a game with what my eyes see and what my heart feels. And the reason that Jason Tatum did what he did to Donovan Mitchell was because he's a classless bum. He's a whining little bitch. And any other player would have been called for a technical foul for lowering his shoulder and hammering into Donovan Mitchell. And the fact that they didn't even replay the thing told me that was just another gift for Boston. Boston knows in their heart they were lucky to win. They won't win if they play like that. Again, and they played well shooting the ball, but they couldn't lose the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers stayed with them, came back. I'm going to say something. I think the Cavaliers are a better basketball team than the Celtics. And here's why I say it. They're in a position now where they're getting more out of more players. And to have the players who have, the fact that Porzingis hasn't played this year, he'll get hurt again immediately. But you're going to see injuries to other players. They've been around for a while for Boston. And the bottom line is that Cleveland is building a confidence level with a wide range of players off of their bench. And all you had to do was see Ty Jerome come out the next game against the Pelicans. Now the Pelicans didn't have anything, but that's a big drain to lose that game for Cleveland on the road and have to come back the next night and play at home against the Pelicans, who had fresh legs. And although there were a bunch of G League players, the bottom line was they didn't have to overplay Donovan Mitchell, or they didn't even play Donovan Mitchell, and that Ty Jerome could step up and score 27 points in the first half of a game. This will tell you everything you need to know about the Cavaliers. Niang starts making shots. You're getting play from a lot of different guys. And Tyson came off and started his first game as a rookie, getting their feet wet. Kenny Atkinson is doing the smart thing. He's getting his players prepared for later in the year. They will be called upon. They will be needed. Who do the Celtics have when their day and their trial comes up? Who do they have? And if they don't have their big two guys, they're fucked. They're totally fucked.
Who, Bird and McHale?
Huh? Yeah,
Bird-
Bird and McHale. Yeah. The bottom line is that I just, Tatum and Brown and then Kobe White, fine. Those guys can shoot the basketball, but White wouldn't be shit without the other two guys because he wouldn't get clean looks. They'd run him off the line. The Cavaliers are proving to be a much deeper team. And I love what I'm seeing from them because it's somebody different who can hurt you, and they play together and they want to win. And everybody was so happy for Ty Jerome. And the attitude of the team is so tremendous compared to what it was when JB Bickerstaff was running the show that I think Cleveland is for real. Now, when it comes to the playoffs, the Celtics will be the favorites because they'll get every call. We know how that works. I don't think they're a better basketball team than the Cavaliers. That's what I'll tell you right now. Anything can happen during the course of a season. We've only played 17 games. There's 65 more that have to be played. And this is entirely possible because of the start we got off on. We're resting now, which is great. We're recharging our battery, and we'll be coming up to play the Raptors on Sunday. And we should be rested and ready to go. We'll see how that rest, if there's any rust that develops from, because it's the first rest we've gotten all year. It's unbelievable. Absolutely. I think that right now the Cavs and the Celtics are the best teams in the East, and not the Knicks, and, not the Bucks. No. So, and Evan Mobley is proving to be everything we hoped he would be. He is starting to get into the 2010 range of statistics, but his defense is elite. And he makes life difficult for anybody who comes down the paint. It's not easy to score down low against this Cavalier team, and they're motivated and playing like they want to win. And CPJ is coming off the bench and doing a lovely job. It's nice to see Tyson get out there. Ty Jerome has just been absolutely amazing. I would say Niang has been the weakest, and he's starting to look better, getting open looks from three. And we haven't even seen Max Strus yet, the man of perpetual motion. And, Sam Merrill has a hurt ankle, but he helped us earlier in the season. But interestingly, as much with his defense as with his offense, and if you look at Sam Merrill's numbers this year when he played, he's got a big plus number next to it. So it's all good. I really believe what Thursday? What about Thursday? I'm sorry. What am I missing here?
A bunch of other words.
Yeah. I don't know what Thursday is, and Orlando is still missing components. And, they have, I like Wagner, not Mo. I like Franz. But Franz likes to go down the lane. If you force him to shoot threes, not so good. They still have work that they've got to do. They don't have the roster that the Cavaliers have, or the systematic methodology that's working for that team. And they won in Los Angeles. That is a great accomplishment, but the Lakers are old. The Cavaliers made them look like a pillar of salt in our building. So the Lakers are not going to be a factor in the West because they're just old, and Anthony Davis is perpetually hurt, and LeBron can only play at full bore for X number of minutes, 10 minutes a game at a time to really try to be explosive. This next game, can we beat the Celtics? The Celtics are going to be laying in wait in one regard, but they're going to have something to prove. We're going to see what happens. So I'm thrilled with the Cavaliers. I think they've done so much better by not, sometimes going out and changing things is the right thing to do, which I think it is for the Browns. But sometimes standing pat in the poker game with your hand, it's the winning hand. And I think that the proper decision was made that JB Bickerstaff was not really leading these young men to a place where they could be successful as their careers started blooming. And they're better off without JB Bickerstaff. And I think JB will get more wins out of the Pistons. Already has half as many as they had all of last year, but he has a limitation. And right now, the ability to develop 10 men deep has really surfaced in a good way, because there are going to be injuries, soft tissue injuries. There's going to be ankle turns. The physicality of the NBA is tremendous. Every team in the league is suffering one major injury after another to important players, but it seems like the Bucks and the 76ers can't overcome it because their bench is weak. We are building a really solid bench from people who know what their role is. Really great. So thanks a lot, John, for joining me on the program today. I appreciate it. It's 13 after 6, and that means I got to get on to my life. But thanks for tuning in and being here, and thanks everybody for jumping in. And I'm glad that the Browns won, but I'm even gladder that the Steelers lost. And yes, Jason Tatum is a bum, and I'm hoping that he gets hit by somebody in a game where he understands that a season can be lost with that kind of contact intentional and inexcusable. In my book, just inexcusable. All right, everybody, we will see you again on Monday. Until then, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night. Take care.